All right, folks, joining me right now, Tennessee Senator and gubernatorial candidate Marsha Blackburn. It's great to see you, Senator. You know, I am dismayed. I talked about this in the preamble about your party's response, to be honest, to the Democrats' weaponizing of food. It has been to signal that your side is willing to negotiate to give Democrats power to use health care to extort our people in the future with Obamacare. Serious question now. Has the GOP sold out to the Democrats' socialized medicine?
Oh, no, not at all. As a matter of fact, I think the Republican conference has held together really well. The Democrats have voted 13 times to keep the government closed, and Republicans have continued to vote yes, and to get the government open. And indeed, the Obamacare subsidies, Chris, this is something that is permanent in law. And what we're discussing is the expiration of the Biden COVID credit bonus. And COVID is over. And this is something that Biden and the Democrats had put in place in 2021. Then in 22, they set an expiration date of December 31st, 2025. Now, what they did with the Biden COVID credit bonus is they removed all income caps from what you can make in order to get a Obamacare subsidy. Now, it had been 400% of poverty, which is $128,600 a year for a family of four. Well, they took the income caps off. So a lot of people had a $0 premium, and people making as much as $500,000 a year, $500,000 a year, were getting a taxpayer-funded subsidy, paying 80 or 90% of their health insurance cost, courtesy of the U.S. taxpayer. And the Democrats have always said Obamacare was a step on the path to government-run, single-payer health care, and they're trying to take a giant step by making these Biden COVID credit bonuses permanent, and Republicans are saying, oh, no, you don't.
Okay. Well, yes, and I believe the whole foundation, Obamacare and the credits and this opening up the government to paying for health care, there's nothing, it is completely improper. And you're right, the Democrats have socialized medicine on the brain. And meanwhile, President Trump is insisting that you Republicans there terminate the filibuster to end the Democrats' record-breaking government shutdown. He's warning that failing to do so could hand the Democrats the midterms as well as the next presidential election because, you know, well, first off, because of that, but plus he seems to know that Democrats were the first to go nuclear on judges, and so they're going to go nuclear on this in the future if they recapture power. And he also thinks that they're going to be able to recapture the presidency because of this. What do you think your caucus should do? Get rid of the filibuster or no?
Well, there are not 60 votes to get rid of the filibuster. And getting rid of the filibuster doesn't solve anything. The Democrats need to vote for a clean CR, which is what passed out of the House on a bipartisan vote. It is what we now have given them 13 opportunities to pass, and we're going to give them more opportunities to pass. This would continue the discussion of the appropriations bills. All of our appropriations bills are out of the Senate. 3 have already passed off the Senate floor. We've got another group ready to go. 8 of the 12 bills came out on a bipartisan vote. We need to get off the Biden budget and onto a Republican and Trump budget, which will help us to get the spending under control. And that is what our goal is. Yes.
Okay. Well, let's pivot from the economics to James Comey. He tried to get his indictment tossed, but prosecutors dropped even more explosive evidence. The evidence includes emails and texts and a 2016 handwritten note showing that Mr. Comey coordinated with aide Daniel Richman to leak information and his awareness of the Obamagate Russia collusion hoax conspiracy. I'm very much aware that this is what leftists do with their power once they get it. Do you think your colleagues in the Republican Party are wide-eyed about the danger posed to our freedoms by this current version of the Democrat Party?
Oh, yes, indeed. And as a matter of fact, some of my Republican colleagues and I had a meeting today about Arctic Frost and Jack Smith and all of this that was done. What we have to realize is the Democrats were using their power to weaponize the government to keep Donald Trump from becoming president of the United States, to block him from running in the 2024 election. They wanted to do anything they could and use every tool at their disposal to block Donald Trump. Along the way, the 9 senators that were targeted by Jack Smith and Arctic Frost and our records were pulled. You know, Chris, if they pulled phone records, they probably pulled bank records. They probably did Oppo research because they were moving to indict Donald Trump, and they wanted to go after us. They wanted to take him down. They wanted to take our party down. And it is imperative that we bring Judge Boasberg, who signed those 197 subpoenas. It is imperative that we bring him before our committee. It's imperative that we bring Verizon and AT&T before the committee and find out how they handled these subpoenas differently. And AT&T did not turn over our records, and Verizon did. It is imperative that we move forward with Watergate-style hearings and a special select committee to investigate every bit of this and make certain it never happens again. When I talk to Tennesseans, they do not want this 2 tiers of justice to continue. They want equal treatment, equal justice, and they are furious the more they find out about the weaponization that was carried out by not only Biden and his DOJ and FBI, but back to Barack Obama and his.
I know. So you took me right where I wanted to go, Senator. Now, last week, we learned, as you were alluding to, the special counsel, special inquisitor, Jack Smith, with the help of rogue judges like James Boasberg, targeted the entire Republican political apparatus. Evidence suggests that the Biden regime, the judiciary, and Democrat elements in Congress did all of this with no probable cause. But as you know, House Republicans have shown no willingness to conform with the constitutional duties they've been given as a check on the rogue judiciary. Tell me, will Democrats get away with what they did to the GOP because the GOP is too weak? And in some cases, some in your party are sympathetic to the Democrats' lawless agenda.
We have encouraged our House colleagues to begin impeachment proceedings on James Boasberg. We have also encouraged Senator Grassley here in the Senate, who chairs Judiciary, to go ahead and call Boasberg before us for a hearing. We have encouraged Senator Cruz to call the wireless companies in for a hearing. We need to get going on this, and we need to find out who the bad actors are. They need to be indicted. They need to be pulled into court. There needs to be a hearing, and they need to be held to account to the full extent of the law. Their goal was to target an individual, President Donald Trump, to keep him from running, to keep him from being president. They, along the way, wanted to target Republicans who support him and then try to take away, look, they violated our First and Fourth Amendment rights, our due process rights, our separation of powers and speech and debate clause and Stored Communications Act. They violated it all.
And they will continue to do so, too, Senator, if they don't get punished.
And
Senator Marsha Blackburn,
if they're doing it to us, they'll do it to conservatives all across the country.
Absolutely. Look at that. They're already showing us they're willing to take away people's food for their political cause. Can you imagine what they're going to do with our health care? Senator Marsha Blackburn and gubernatorial candidate Marsha Blackburn, we'll talk to you again soon, lady. Thank you. You know, folks, I thank God for my wonderful wife, my kids, my country, the greatest nation ever. And Americans like you who believe in the truth, the Chris Salcedo Show will never stop fighting for you.
The Chris Salcedo Show, for the news you need to know.